Now we learn the optimal solution of a transportation problem. We already learned how to find out the basic feasible solution of a transportation problem by using the defined methods. We learned that defined methods is the northwest corner rule, matrix minimum method, and Vogel's approximation method. So first we find out the initial basic feasible solution by using any method. Then we test the basic feasible solution is optimum or not. That before that we have to check that the basic feasible solution is degenerate or non-degenerate. Then we have to start. Once the initial basic feasible solution of a transportation problem has been obtained, the next step in the problem is to determine whether the solution obtained is optimum or not. Optimality test can be conducted to any initial basic feasible solution of a transportation problem, provided such allocations is exactly m plus n minus 1. That means the number of allocations should be m plus n minus 1. M is the number of sources or the origin, n is the number of destinations where the demand created, and m is the number of origins or the factories or the sources, that is the stock is available. Non-negative allocations where m is the number of origins and is the number of destinations. Also, these allocations must be independent. What is independent? That we already discussed. Independent means number of allocations in the which cells they are not forming a loop. That means they are the independent. That we have to check. Optimality test of the basic feasible solution. To perform this optimality test and to reach the optimum solution, basically there are the two methods. One method is named as the modified distribution method, that is the MODI method, MO, and DI, that is the MODI. Modified distribution method, MO from the modified and DI from the distribution, that is the MODI method. It's basically known as the MODI method. Another method is known as the stepping stone method. Not in our syllabus, but stepping stone, actually we are doing the trial and error method by shifting the allocation from highest cost cell to the least cost cell, that in the independent least cost cell, that is the trial method. Here we discussed only the MODI method to find the optimal solution of a transportation problem. Modified distribution MODI method. This MODI method, also known as the UV method. UV is at the shadow variable of, this is known as the shadow variable UV. So basically MODI method is the UV method. From with the help of the UV, we are trying to test the optimality and we are improving the initial basic feasible solution step by step, and finally we will get the optimum solution. The modified distribution method is also known as MODI method or the UV method. Provides a minimum cost solution to the transportation problem. So basically in this method we have to find out the total minimum cost for the transportation problem. Steps are known as the steps algorithm. What are the steps is there that we discussed one by one. Find the initial basic feasible solution of a transportation problem by using any one of the three methods. One is the northwest corner rule, matrix minima method, and Vogel approximation method. These three methods we apply to find out the initial basic feasible solution. At the same time, we have to check that the initial basic feasible solution satisfying the m plus n minus 1 allocations, that is, it should be non-degenerate basic feasible solution. If it is degenerate, then we have to resolve the degeneracy. This solution will provide m plus n minus 1 independent non-negative allocations, non-degenerate IBFS initial basic feasible solution. 2. Steps 2. Find the values of the dual variable uy and vj, is also known as the shadow variable, for each row and the column satisfying uy plus vj is equal to cij. That cij for is the occupied cell. This cij is related to the allocated cell. And these uy and vj first we have to calculate with the help of the allocated cell for each occupied cell. To start with, we assign the value 0 to any uy or vj for which the corresponding row or column having the maximum number of allocations or occupied cell. We are setting uy and vj in such a way that in which row or column having the maximum number of allocations. If any row have the 3 allocations and any other row or any other column have the 2 allocations, then we are setting in the suppose in the third row u3 is equal to 0. Suppose in a allocation the cost matrix, transportation cost matrix allocation is there. Suppose I am considering in the third row related to the origin, third origin, that is the number of allocations is 3, and all other row are number of allocations less than 3, and also number in the allocations in the columns also less than 3. Then we are considering u3 is equal to 0. If the number of allocations in any column is more comparison to the others rows and the column, then we are setting vj, that is, suppose it is corresponding to the column 2, then v2 is equal to 0. Occupied cells with the number allocations is more. If this maximum number of allocations is more than 1, choose any one arbitrarily. If the few rows and the few columns have the same number of allocations, then we can choose arbitrarily any one. After the calculation of ei and vj with the help of this relation, then we have to calculate the net evaluation, that is called the penalty cost also. Net evaluation, that is the delta ij. Delta ij we have to calculate using this formula for the unoccupied cell. Find out the each empty cell. Empty cells means the unoccupied cell, or we can say the unoccupied cell, where the allocation is not done. Using this delta ij, you have to calculate cij. Each and every cell has the cost, transportation cost, and we already calculated ui and vj. Cij is there, and corresponding ith row and the jth column, that is ui and vj, we already calculated. Then we can calculate cij minus ui plus vj, and which is written at the bottom left corner of the cell. Bottom left corner of the cell, I am considering that way, and cost is the top right corner, and middle we are writing the allocation. When the allocations is there, that time we are not calculating the delta ij. For the empty cell, we are calculating the delta ij. Steps 4. Check the sign of each net evaluation value delta ij. Now we have to check the sign of the delta ij. few delta ij may be positive, few delta ij may be negative, few delta ij may be equal to 0. Now, what are the cases may be arises? What are the cases may be arises? All delta ij may be greater than 0. If all delta ij greater than 0, that is all the net evaluation value is greater than 0. That means the solution is optimum and a unique solution exists. So in which table we are getting all delta is greater than 0, that table is the optimum table, and we can say that the optimum solution exists for that particular transportation problem, and that optimum solution is unique because it is greater than 0. If delta is greater than equal to 0, then the solution is optimum, but an alternate solution is exists. Delta is greater than 0 means some or more delta is equal to 0. When at least one delta is equal to 0, then the solution is optimum but not the unique. Then there is the alternate solution exists. And when at least one delta is less than 0, then we have to improve the solution to find out the optimum solution. At least one delta is less than 0. If more delta is less than 0, then we have to find out the most negative delta is, then we have to start allocation from that. When the at least one delta is less than 0, the solution is not optimum. In this case, we go to the next step to minimize the total transportation cost. That means we have to improve the solution by using the modeling method. Next step. Now the step 5, select the unoccupied cell having the most negative net evaluation value. From the delta ij, we have to find out the most negative. If it is the delta ij more than one negative value, then we have to find out the most negative value in the which cell. From this cell, we draw a closed path or loop by drawing a horizontal and vertical line with the corner cells occupied. That means when you are drawing the loop like that, each and every corner, if it is the rectangle, so rectangular loop, so each and every corner of the loop should present an occupied cell, except the starting delta is where the delta is negative. From where we are starting the loop, that is not the occupied cell, and other corners except that all the corners should present an allocation. That means occupied cell. From this cell, we draw a closed path or the loop by drawing the horizontal and vertical lines with the corner cells occupied, assigning the plus and minus alternately. From which cell we are starting the allocation, that cell will be the positive. We are basically mentioning the plus theta. Then alternately corner allocated cell is minus theta, plus theta alternately. And find the minimum allocation from the cell having the negative sign, in which cell we are put it that the minus theta from minus notation in the occupied cell, we have to find out the minimum value. So what would be the value of theta? That we have to select where the minus theta is present. From that we have to find out the minimum of that. This is the continuation of the fifth. These allocations should be added to the allocation having the positive sign and the subtracted from the allocation having the negative sign. That means where we have put it the plus theta, it would be added the value of the theta, and where it is the minus theta is given, we have already put it in the cell. From that, value of the theta should be subtracting from that. For the closed path of loop, every corner should present an allocation except the starting unoccupied cell. This is I already discussed. This is very, very important. If any allocations within the line, not on the corner, that should be unchanged. That should not give any effect. We don't touch that cell. Point 6. The previous steps yields a better solution by making one or more occupied cell as empty and one empty cell as occupied. For this new set of the basic feasible allocation, repeat from step 2 till an optimum basic feasible solution is obtained. So in this case, basically what happened, we are shifting allocation from high cost cell, allocated cell to the low cost cell, basically. So with the help of the Modi method, we try to find out the optimal solution of the problem. Let us consider a problem. First, we find out the initial basic feasible solution by using any method. Then we test it, it is optimum or not. If it is not optimum, then we try to find out the optimum solution of the given problem. So find the optimum solution and the minimum total transportation cost of the transportation problem. These are the, this is the cost of the given, this is the cost matrix, this is the available is given, and this is the demand at the destination D1, D2, D3. And 45, 15, 40 is the available at the origin, O1, O2, O3. Or we can say this is the, these are the stocks and these are the demand. It is denoted by AI available and demand is denoted by BJ. So solution. First, what we have to do to start the solution? First, we have to check the given transportation problem is balanced or not. That means it should satisfy the RIM requirement, RIM. So summation of I is equal to 1 to 3 AI equal to summation of j is equal to 1 to 3, bj is equal to 100, 55 and 25, 80 and 20, 100. Here 45 and 15, 60 and 40, 100. So this is equal to 100. Therefore, the given transportation problem is a balanced transportation problem. So we can proceed to find initial basic feasible solution. That is I. So we can find out the initial basic feasible solution by using the Vogel approximation method. So we already learned Vogel approximation method when we are finding the initial basic feasible solution. It's basically near to the optimum solution. Sometimes we get the solution by using the Vogel approximation VAB, it is optimum. This is table 1. This is example 1 by using the Vogel approximation method, and also we are doing by using the MODI method. So first, this is we are calculating the penalty cost. First penalty cost we are calculating by finding the difference between the list and the next list. List and the next list difference is 1. List and next list is difference is 3. List and next list difference is 1. So it is the row penalty. Now we have to find out the column penalty. 15 and 10 difference is 3. 7 and 10 difference is 3. 7 and 8 difference is 1. Here 8 and 9 difference is 1. So in the first penalty cost, which one is the maximum? 3 is the maximum penalty cost. So with respect to that, we have to check where is the least cost is there. 9, 12 and 15, 9 is the least cost. So we can allocate here. How much we can allocate? Our available is the 15 unit and demand is 20 unit. So we can allocate here 15 unit. This is 20. No, this is 15. That is that 20. Oh. So left will be, this is basically wrong. This will be the left is the 5. This will be the 5, this will be 5, and this will be the 5. This is the wrong. 20, if we take that 20 from 2015, so this will be the 5, this will be 5, and last one, that will be the 0. 15, so this is actually exhausted. Now, in the second penalty, we are moved to the calculating the second penalty, this one. What is the maximum? This is the maximum penalty. So the maximum penalty is the 4. So in this row, where is the least cost? 7. Least cost is the 7. So here we can allocate how much? This is 40. This is 40 and this is 25. We have the demand and 40 is the available. So we can allocate is the 25. So 25, then there is no available. So it is already blocked. And here, if we subtract the 15 from the 40, we will get the 15. This should be blocked actually. This should not be there. Now the penalty, third penalty we can calculate. Third penalty we can calculate. There 1, 3, 5. 1, 3 and 5. So this is our the maximum penalty cost. So here in this column we can allocate. And where is the least cost? Where is the least cost? 7 is our the least cost. So we can allocate how much? 55 and here is the 45. So we can allocate how much? 5, 1, 1, no. 3, 4, 5, 15. 5 already allocated. Some mistake is there. then we allocated here the 40, some calculation mistake is there. So we can allocate here the 40. So after the 40, how much is left? Here is 4. That means 50. Oh, in the second penalty cost, no. In the first we are allocated is the 15. Then the second penalty cost is the 4 is the maximum. Then we are allocating the 15 here. In the second penalty cost, here 4 is the maximum in the second penalty. So we can allocate here how much? 15 and 55. That is the 15. So this is the block. Now the third penalty, as soon as we have 15 is allocated, here is left is the, after the second calculation, left over is the 40. Now the penalty cost is, in this third penalty, it is the 5. So this is the highest penalty cost. So you can put our, in the least cost cell, that is the 7. We have here the 40. So 40 we can allocate here. And here after the 45, from the 45, we left only the 5 is there. So 40 is there, 15 allocated. So in this case, we can allocate is there already, the 15, this is actually exhausted. This is, so only left over is there the 5. That 5 is allocated here. So this is our the allocation by using the Vogel's approximation method. Now how many allocations is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number of origins 3 and number of destination 3. So 3 plus 3 minus 1 is the 5. So this is our the non-degenerate initial basic feasible solution. Already I discussed all the things. So in this case, what is our the allocations? Number of allocations x12 is equal to 40, x13 is equal to 5, x23 is equal to 15, and x31 is equal to 25, x32 is equal to 15. These are the initial basic feasible solution, and the non-basic, so rest non-basic xij is equal to 0. These are the non-negative, this is the non-degenerate initial basic feasible solution. See, this is the non-degenerate initial basic feasible solution. Now with the help of this, we have to start the test of optimality. Test of optimality we can do by using with the help of the Modi method. So for this we are considering the two additional, one column and another is the row, by using the UV method. UV is our the, we are called also the shadow variable. Now we have to calculate the U and V by considering the formula Cij is equal to Ei plus Vj. Now you have to consider either Uy equal to 0 or Vj equal to 0 by considering that since here the, in this row corresponding to the origin of 1, number of allocations is the 2, here is the 1, here is the 2. So we can choose U3 is equal to 0 or U1 equal to 0. In this, here in the column 2 allocations is there, we can consider also V2 is equal to 0. Here is also the 2 allocations is there, we can choose also V3 equal to 0. But here we are considering E1 equal to 0. So as soon as the E1 equal to 0, our formula is that Ci is equal to Y plus Vj. This equal to this plus this. So when we are getting the allocation, so this is our the consideration, E1 equal to 0. We can calculate this V3. V3 plus E1 equal to 8. E1 is 0. That means V3 is equal to 8. Again, E1 corresponding equal to 0, and in this row there is another allocation. So we move to V2 is equal to 7 because 7 plus 0 equal to 7. Cij by using this. Cij is 7, U1 is 0 and V2. So what would be the value of V2? V2 is equal to 7. Now as soon as we got this is V2 is 7, what would be the value of U3? U3 plus V2 is equal to 8. V2 value is the 7. So obviously U3 is equal to 1. When U3 is 1, we can move in this allocated cell. Their cost is Cij is 7. Our formula is Ui plus Vj. Ui plus Vj equal to 7. So this is 1. So this should be 6 because this plus this equal to this. As soon as we got 1, we can find out the another one. Now from here, see, we got V3 is equal to 8. As soon as V3 is 8 and our Cij is 9, so this should be the U2 is equal to 1. So all Ui and Vj we got with reference to the occupied cell. Now you have to calculate the delta Ij by using the formula Cij minus Ui plus Vj. Since we got Ui, U1, U2, U3 and V1, V2, V3. So with the help of this, calculate the delta Ij. This is delta 1, 1. Delta 1, 1 equal to 10 minus 0 plus 6. 10 minus 0 plus 6, that is the 4 for the unoccupied cell. This is delta 2, 1. Delta 2, 1. That means 15. Cij means 15 minus U2, V1. U2 value is 1. V1 value is 6. So this plus this will be the 7. So 15 minus 7 is equal to 8. In this case, cell 2, 2. 12 is the transportation cost. Our U2 is 1 and V2 is equal to 7. So 12 minus 8 is equal to 4. Only one left here. Transportation cost is the 12. Our V3 value is 8 and U3 value is 1. So 12 minus 8 plus 1. 9. So this should be the 3. This is the wrong. This should be the 3. This is 8. 9. This should be 8. This is 8. And this is 7, 8, 1. It is okay. Though this should be the 3. 9. So 12 minus 9. This would be the 3. Now see, all delta Ij. This is positive. This is positive. This is positive. This is also the positive. This would be the 3. So all delta Ij is greater than 0. No one is the equal to 0 or negative. So this is our the optimum table. This is our the optimum table. So this solution is our the optimum solution. Therefore, the given transportation problem have a unique optimal solution. Since it is strictly greater than 0, we will get the unique optimal solution. And what are the optimal solution is that x12 is equal to 40, x13 is equal to 5, x23 is equal to 15, x31 is equal to 25, x32 is equal to 15. So this is our the optimal solution. We can write here, and remaining non-basic xij is equal to 0. And what is the our minimum transportation cost with the help of the optimal solution is 7 into 40, 7 into 40, 8 into 5, 9 into 15, 7 into 25, 8 into 15. If the unit is given, then we can write the unit. Here the unit is not given, then we are writing the unit, or we can write the money unit. So 750 unit is our the minimum transportation cost with considering our optimal solution. Now we can check the solution with the help of a software. That software is known as the TORA software. See, and what is the value? That 750 is the value, and these are the allocations according to the solution: 40, 5, 15, 25, and 15, and that cost is given 750. Whatever the value is there by using the Vogel approximation method, and this is the optimum because there is no next iteration is there. Whatever the solution, initial basic feasible solution we got by using the Vogel approximation method, that is the optimal solution, and optimum minimum transportation cost is the 750. So next we are considering the another problem by using the loop to find the optimum solution.